Welcome to
Separate Bathrooms and other handy marriage tips.
Hello there and welcome to Separate Bathrooms and Other Handy Marriage Tips. My name's Cam Daddo and this is my wife.
It's Ali Daddo.
Hi Ali Daddo. How are you?
Dun, dun, dun. I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. You excited?
I'm so excited. We are welcoming one of Australia's favourite people into the bathroom today, and she really is one of Australia's favourite people. She's so lovely. Actually, she's been here before, though. It's just you and I in the media room again.
Well, this is awkward because it's actually not just you. You've got a random stranger that's found a way in. Hello, Alison. Hello, Cameron.
Hey, Joe. How are you? We've been bombed by Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah.
Joh Griggs.
We're so excited to have you guys on the show. And literally, this is what you guys do week in, week out with your podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, of course we're talking about Johanna Griggs. She surprised us in the middle of recording a while back when I was shooting an episode of Better Homes and Gardens.
And because she's such a great lady.
And probably feels so bad about hijacking that recording.
She has agreed to come on here with her lovely husband, Todd. Now, they've been married about 15 years. And Joh, as you may know, is a TV host of the #1 lifestyle show, Better Homes and Gardens. She's passionate about sports and is a director of Beyond Blue, which provides information and support to help everyone in Australia achieve their best possible mental health, whatever their age and wherever they live.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And hubby Todd is the great supporter. He's a successful builder, owner of his own construction company. He's been friend and mentor to Johanna's sons, Jesse and Joe. And evidently, he's just an all-round good Aussie bloke.
They're now grandparents to a delightful little guy called Jax. We've got so much to talk about, so let's welcome them into the bathroom.
No worries. Thanks for having us in the bathroom.
Well, let's jump right in. How did you guys meet?
To be perfectly honest, Todd was going to move in to a house with my brother. And to cut a long story short, I'd had a long-distance relationship for a number of years, and when he had a chance to move home to actually live for the first time together, he chose to go to Scotland. And the phone lines and the time of day and everything were terrible. So within about 5 weeks, we just made a mature decision just to break up. And everyone in my family were kind of like, oh, that's so sad, except for my brother, who was just like, oh, you know what, it is a shame for you, except that I think it's the right thing to have happened because I've actually met the right person for you. And that's all he said.
Wow.
And he didn't actually give me any more information. And then one day I was in the pool with the boys and my brother walked in and Todd walked in behind him, and I just thought he was so drop-dead gorgeous that I just basically tried to stretch myself on the lilo to not look like I'd had 2 kids and suck myself in all sorts of places. And because my brother took a phone call and walked away. So Todd, just being Todd, just started chatting away to the boys for ages and ended up staying for a drink. And we just got on so well that at the end of it, in my head, I was kind of panicking because I knew I wanted to see him again. And so I just sort of suggested that he should come to my very famous Friday night dinner parties that I threw, which of course I never had thrown before. And my brother thought that was hilarious. And Todd would come every week and we'd have the best conversation and we'd chat all night, and then he'd just get to the end of the night and then he'd just go home. I honestly thought I was throwing myself at him in just the most obvious way possible, but he missed every sign for a very long time. And then about sort of 6 months later, he actually left, and I just thought, this is never going to happen. I'm just going to have to accept I'm in the friend zone. And he actually came back and he's like, we get on so well. Why don't we go out on a date? And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're finally actually noticing me. That would be fantastic. I have been like holding a neon sign above me going, please notice me. And so he told me he'd bring me at midday the next day. And as you know, fate would have it, I got a phone call from the ex about 15 minutes earlier who just said, I've made the biggest mistake of my life and I'm coming back to Australia and, we've never lived with each other and there's nothing wrong with our relationship. And so I kind of was so rattled by that phone call, I hung up. And, of course, Todd rang straight after and he was just straight into a conversation about food and where we're going to go. So I kind of just tripped over my words to explain to him what had happened and got a response that I wasn't expecting. And he just said, Well, that's extraordinary. I know, the very short synopsis version of it, but I picked you as somebody who had more self-respect and more self-esteem. And I was like, what? And he just said, if somebody had all those years with you and chose to move further away and have now worked out after all this time that there's nothing better out there, if they decide to come back and you decide to even consider it, I wish you all the happiness in your life. I just won't be a part of it. And hung up.
How did you feel doing that, Todd?
I just thought that if he hadn't like committed to the relationship before that, what's the use of like even trying again?
That was a brave thing to say, because you were kind of laying it all on the line in that moment, just going, all right, this is what I feel. If you don't have enough self-respect in this moment, I'm out. You didn't want to chase or anything. It's very brave.
That's Todd, though. That's Todd in a nutshell. Like, I think that's his character is he's very very authentic and very up and down and very black and white, and he expects people to, if he trusts them, he expects them to trust him, and if he does the right thing by them, he expects them to do the right thing by him. So his life is, I think, quite amazingly simple in that regard, and it speaks volumes about his character. And it took a long time to get him to actually come back. And if he wasn't going to move in with my brother, he wouldn't have come back. But as it turned out, he never moved in with my brother. And we knew within about a week of actually going on that first date, that very longed for first date, that we were going to get married. And neither of us, we'd been married, both of us, and we didn't want to get married again, but it just felt like it was going to be the right thing to do.
Todd, you stepped into a stepfather role. How was that?
Yeah, look, it's been great from day one. I don't know, it just seemed quite like a seamless process, to be honest with you. The boys and I got on like a house on fire. I love kids, and it just seemed quite a natural fit straight away. And, how difficult, or is it difficult, the transition of marrying someone with kids? I never really thought about it, to be honest. One of my main attractions to Joh was what a beautiful mum she was and how attentive she was and caring and loving, and I thought that was magnificent. So, you
did have to teach me, though, Toddy, because he used to say to me, I was so used to doing everything just as one person, considering everything, doing the finances, running my days, running the boys' days. Everything was so regimented and organised because it had to be, because I was also working full-time. And I remember every now and then Todd would say, so what's the plan for this day or this weekend? And so I just run through it all. And he just very quietly say, oh, that's great. He said, have you ever considered a plan where maybe two people were part of making that decision? And it was just a really nice way of going, hey, listen, control freak, you're actually going to have to realise there's two of us in this relationship. But he always does it in a way that it kind of stops you in your tracks and makes you have a laugh, and then you realise, okay, I'm sorry, I'm actually the one you're going to have to train here. It's not the boys. Kids are amazing. They adapt incredibly, but it was definitely me having to learn how to let someone in and to give up some of that control.
Yeah. That is tricky, though, as a mum, and particularly, as you say, as a single mum. Even married to Cam, sometimes I've got to learn to give up control because I'm so used to managing the three kids, and this goes here and that goes there. And Cam's like, well, I can help. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you can help? I have it all organised.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. Todd, just the last thing, there's a lot of people in who are coming into families that already have kids. What advice, or do you have any thoughts on what advice you would give those people that are having difficulty or anything like that?
Oh, look, when I came into the relationship, I just said to the boys straight away that they've got a father. I'm not their father, but I'll be a role model and a father model. So I'm not trying to replace anybody. And that sort of made it work quite simple. I was just there as a new part of their life rather than trying to replace something. That's sort of all. I don't know what else to say about that, to be honest with you.
You also were consistent, and he provided a lot of stability from a male figure that we hadn't sort of had in any of our lives, to be perfectly honest. And I can always remember going away to a Winter Olympics, and this is before we got married, so we'd been dating, and it was early on. And, I was ringing home every day, talking to Mum about the boys, and I was ringing Todd every day, and no one mentioned anything. But when I came back, Todd had made a point of going to our house every day to either have a swim with the boys, kick a footy with the boys, help them with their homework, just hang with them, watch TV, play a game. And I didn't find out till I got home, and I was so touched that he would do that. And he said, but it was very important that the boys understood that he wasn't just here for me, that he was going to be there for them. And it started right from the get-go. And I still think it's one of the most amazing things. That and the fact that my mum didn't let it slip is a miracle. Yeah. She doesn't usually keep a secret all that well.
What's your relationship like now, Todd, now that they're grown men?
Oh, it's really good, actually. Yeah, Joe Buster, he works for me, so he works underneath me. We have quite a good relationship because we see each other every day. Jesse, we don't see as often because he's living in Queensland at Cairns at the moment. So, but no, we have great relationships, and we've just get on really well still.
And now you're co-grandparents together, right?
Yeah.
That's our favourite thing in the whole wide world.
That's our favourite role. We love it.
Yeah, my image of grandparents is not what you two are.
No.
Yeah.
I reckon I woke up most days to Toddy playing videos of Jax or looking at photos of him, because it's just brought this element to our life that we just could never, I mean, you hear it and it's so cliched, but you never could imagine just how much love and joy just that little being can give and bring into all of our lives. He's just the sweetest, funniest, cutest little munchkin, and we're very lucky. Joe has everything set up at our place because he lives with mates, and that way Katie never has to worry about Jack's going back to a batch pad. So we get to share all of his access time with him and Jax, and it's just, I reckon it's the highlights of our week every week.
Aww, that's gorgeous. As far as work-life balance, I know, Joe, you do a lot of traveling. How do you balance your schedules with each other? Do you get enough time with each other? How do you make that work?
I think, at the moment, definitely through COVID, it's been, to be perfectly honest, we've both loved it. I've only had, I think, one interstate trip in the last couple of months, whereas, there's been years and years where I can travel sort of 6 or 8 flights a week. And that actually requires, I think, a partner who is incredibly trusting and incredibly confident in their own skin, just to be able to plow on, because you miss out on lots of things or lots of events or going to things. I think probably the best and biggest thing that we did was about 14 years ago, we bought a rural property, and that has a lot of appeal to both of us. We love entertaining. We love having it full of family and friends. We grow like 80% of our veggies, and we've got bees, and Todd's got his tractor and his excavator, and just even the trigger when we're both driving up here, it just makes us really relax. And so I think we make a very conscious effort to make time for each other. I mean, we talk to each other about 50 times a day, I reckon, most days. And, we definitely try not to be apart unless we have to be. And I think just having that, to me, that work-life balance is definitely something that we both, we dream that we'll eventually retire, out there. And it brings us a calmness to our life. And so, if people come and visit, that's great. But when they leave, we also have this moment where we look at each other and we're just like, oh, fantastic. Now it's just the two of us again. So I think that's been a really, really important thing for both of us. Would you agree, Toddy?
Yes, definitely.
Are you just saying that because I asked you?
I don't speak as much as Joe. Obviously, you'll understand that part about us.
You mentioned just before we started that you both shifted a whole bunch of soil today. Is that a usual thing for you guys? How often do you do things like that together?
Quite surprisingly, we do a lot of stuff like this together, a lot at the farm. Joe and I work really well together. As long as she knows I'm in charge, it's no problem. Yeah, right.
I've been sacked off site twice from him. Yeah, where I was
flirting
giving
with the
him
boss,
a bit of lip.
Joe. That's why.
Yeah, no, I wasn't flirting. I was giving the boss a bit of lip, and then when he actually turned out to be correct that I was doing something incorrectly, he just very calmly just said, "Thank you for your time today. You can leave," which meant that I knew I was in a lot of trouble.
Todd, I need some tips from you, man.
Oh, mate, we all need tips.
Speaking of tips, all right, so you've been together 15 years. What are some romance tips that you might be able to give some people out there listening?
Oh, I can't wait to hear this, Todd.
Yeah, you're on,
Oh, is that
Todd.
for me? Is that one for me? Is it?
Yes, that's for you, mate.
Look, Todd.
But my idea of romance is moving 15 tonne of soil and then planting a heap of turf down. So today's been beautiful. So romantic.
All right,
Don't you
we'll
agree,
write
Joe?
that one down.
I actually did love today, but I reckon communication 100% is the most important thing, and for us, laughter. Like, we've got to enjoy every day, and we do enjoy every day. And for me, my other big one is food. Like, I feel like I know Todd loves eating, and I love cooking, and I feel like it's the best way that I can show how much I appreciate him and value him and respect him is to just create kick-ass food the whole time for him, so that he very rarely has to eat the same meal twice in, I don't know, a couple of months. So I feel like that's the effort that I go to just to make him understand. I would say romance is probably not Toddy's strong point. It's not that he doesn't, intend to. He's just
Come on, mate.
We are wired so differently on that front. Like, he's just hilarious. And I mean, we have, every now and then he'll say, I do really love you. I have no question in my mind about that. But if I was expecting like flowers and romance, it's not. I think you'd agree, Todd, it's probably not your strong point.
Yeah, no, it's not my strong point at all.
I was going to say, here's your right of reply, Todd. You get to say that's absolute crap, Joe.
Nah, she got it exactly right. Unfortunately, she's such a romantic, and I'm the opposite. So,
are you a barbie chef? Do you do stuff with the barbecue or any of that sort of stuff?
Look, my idea of the barbecue is if I've got people over, I get someone else to cook it. That's the best thing. I'm not a cook, unfortunately. I only do the barbecue if I have to. So Jo's too good at what she does.
Awesome. Hey, so guys, Joe, you mentioned COVID before.
Yeah.
Mental health, or it's on a lot of people's radar at the moment. You sit on the board of Beyond Blue. Now, I mean, sometimes we all get down in the dumps. What are a couple of things that you guys do to raise your mood?
Exercise, I think, is one of the simplest and easiest ways. Like, I mean, we all know endorphins that get released from exercise. It can actually be a mindset and a trigger for change that you can actually, even if you're dreading going out the door and doing something, that is something that I think is really important. Some kind of meditation. So for me, like the veggie patch, we're out gardening, or even doing what we did today with moving all the soil on 450 square metres of turf. It's amazing how when you're surrounded by nature, how it has an impact without you even realising it. But then when you're actually physically doing things, you actually, without realising it, use that time to think and to, feel like you're being productive and to feel like you've achieved something, which are all really small little shifts in, if somebody's feeling down, they can make a massive difference to how they feel by the time they put their head in a pillow to go to sleep. So I think the nature thing for us is a really big one. We like spending time with our cows. I love spending time with the bees. We caught a swarm on Sunday, and Todd very bravely came and filmed it for me. And so just little things like that. I mean, they sound ridiculous, but doing things that you enjoy. So another thing for me would be cooking. For Todd, it would be, I don't know, PlayStation. He gets to play about once every 2 weeks.
Now I've got to call time out here because you can't tell Todd what he's.
Yeah, true.
Well, she can if she wants.
No, I want to hear.
That's how it works.
I just like coming up to the farm is a real good thing for us. It's really grounding, and you get out, you work all week, and then you come up to the farm on the weekends. you're still working, but it's a little bit different. So to me, that's sort of resets everything from the stressful week or whatever's been happening at work. Once you get here, no one, the animals, the farm doesn't care about what's been happening. So it's a good reset button, and just get out in the tractor and do stuff like that. It's really, really therapeutic.
I was going to ask you, what is your favourite farm equipment?
Oh, that's a toss-up, actually. I've got an excavator and a tractor, so it's like kids. You can't pick one. You can't say who's the favourite, can you? Plus, we've got motorbikes as well, so we go riding on motorbikes and stuff like that. So it's 3 kids.
Yeah, sounds like Nirvana. Beautiful.
It does, doesn't it? Do you spend a lot of time apart? It seems like you probably would.
Not through COVID.
Not through COVID, yeah.
Yeah, but normally, generally, if I've got my travel schedule as full on as it usually is, yeah, we do. We spend lots of time apart, but it's just part of the job. It's always been that way. So I think we've gone into that eyes open of knowing, and we don't ever have, even if I'm travelling, I'm usually talking to Todd on the way to the airport, and then when I land, and definitely before I go to sleep, and he's the same. So we just, I think that's the biggest thing. We keep lines of communication open all the time, and sometimes he goes to bed much earlier than I do. So it's just something as simple as a text, just to say, "Night, I love you." So I think it's just important for us that we really don't go through periods where we don't speak to each other, or we don't talk to each other, or if we don't see each other, we make more of an effort to communicate.
Yeah. Has your job being on the board of Beyond Blue, do you think that that's helped you communicate better with Todd, knowing how important it is that, that can be a way that mental health can really be affected if you sort of internalize everything?
To be honest, I think it's probably more from, I was really crook at 17, and the lessons that I learned about myself and about human nature, and about how when people are scared or they're not sure what things are or how long they're going to last for, they generally just shy away from them. So I actually feel like, I guess, the empathetic qualities that I have in relation to mental health actually were from back then. Right. And I also come from a really strong family of communicators. Like my mum and my sisters and brother, I mean, they're extraordinary. And I think when you've grown up with that, it's something that you're quite aware of anyhow. Being on the board of Beyond Blue for the last 6 years, I've just learned so much more about so many things. Like, one, I didn't realise just how many things they were involved in, and at the moment the demand is just extraordinary, and we've never experienced anything like it before, and I feel like we're at the tip of what's going to be a really hard couple of years ahead, because once JobKeeper ends, there's going to be even more financial concerns. There's small businesses, there's a lot of them that are struggling to survive. There's financial pressure. There's a lot of people, they're not in a safer spot just where they are at home anyhow, and particularly in lockdown. So on top of the trauma of the bushfires and the fears and the fatigue about COVID-19, and this is something we could be dealing with, worst case scenario, for another couple of years. I think you just become more aware, and I spend every moment that I can just trying to get the messages out there, just to get people to realise, don't wait till crisis point to get the help you need. I mean, if it is at crisis point, still reach out, but there's so much more that you can do early on with early intervention, and take steps to actually reach a point of recovery. So I think that's the main messages we just constantly try to tell people and let them know.
Yeah, it's a fantastic message.
Mm. We do a segment. I was going to say, this is the first time we've done it.
It's a very old segment.
Yeah, it's the first time we've done it. It was like, well, we went to do it last time, but I forgot to press record on the last couple we interviewed. So this is the first time we've done it.
Guinea pigs.
It's called the 2 minute. It's called the 2 minute shower. So here we are, and we'll just do quick answers. Basically, that's what it means. It's quick answers to a few questions that we have for you. You want to go for the first question, honey?
Sure. So both of you will answer, whoever wants to go first, but we'll get both your answers if possible. All right, here we go.
You go first, Todd.
We're in the shower together. Here we go. Ready. Who is your biggest inspiration in life?
It's got to be quick, doesn't it?
Oh, it doesn't have to be that quick. We got some time.
Biggest inspiration in life. I like Sir Alex Ferguson. He's a former Manchester United coach. He's just an inspirational figure.
Cool.
Joe?
Mine would be my mum.
Beautiful. Okay. What do you think people notice most about you?
My earlobes.
Earlobes. They're very sexy, especially on this.
You can't see because I've got the little buds in, but
Oh, I can see him, mate. I can see him.
oh yeah, thank
Have
you.
you guys ever noticed your earlobes?
Oh, thanks. You're the first person not to say it.
Mine would be that I'm really tall, and I hear that about 100 times a week. Oh my God, you're so tall.
Joe, can I tell you, I feel your pain. You're a lot taller in real life, aren't you, mate? Yeah, that's right.
So true. Okay. What is your biggest weakness?
Am I going first, Joe, on this one?
Yeah. I'm letting you
Okay.
go first for all of them because, I'm hopeless with short answers.
Okay. Food's my biggest weakness.
Food.
Food, like advertising for food. If I see something advertised, I need to eat it.
It's true. He's a marketer's dream. My biggest weakness, I'm very hyperactive, and so sometimes I just rush into things without giving it the consideration that I should.
Okay, question 4. High school, awesome or terrible?
Awesome for me.
I wasn't there much, but when I was there, it was awesome. But I didn't have a huge amount of secondary education.
All right. I don't know if this applies to either of you, but what's the best adjective that best describes you when you're drunk?
Loose. It's not an adjective though, is it? But that's what it is.
We'll take it. No romance.
See, I would say, Todd, that yours would be funny and mine would be jolly. I get one of those silly little people that just grin incessantly.
Okay, number 1 biggest pet peeve.
I haven't really got one, to be honest with you.
No gasoline in the tractor?
Oh, Joe, actually, my biggest pet
I know
peeve
what you're going to say.
is Joe doing some damage to my car. Happens all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
It really does. It's like I'm jinxed around his car. Mine would be ungrateful people.
It's a good one. Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
If it's cold.
My body temperature runs at 1,000,000 degrees. I would not be able to sleep with socks on. I usually have like one leg hanging out the side of the doona.
True or false? Opposites truly attract.
True.
True. Yeah.
Okay. AFL or NRL?
NRL.
That's hard. I like both of them, but NRL at the moment would be my favourite.
Todd, who do you follow?
The only team, Manly.
Manly. Joe?
Having a great season. I followed Manly as well. We're happy with last week's win, but apart from that, it's been a long season.
Oh, actually, for the last 2 years, I went for the Roosters, so...
Oh, you did not. You went into that because they won the grand final. Every year, Todd buys whoever's in the grand final both their jerseys just so he can actually change it for the winning team, just to annoy his friend.
Right.
I love
He
that.
does it for the AFL and the NRL.
Hedging his bets. I like it.
An
Yeah.
equal opportunity order. Okay. Ali.
Oh, it was meant to be you.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I just did that one.
I'm just doing the question, actually. Comfortable silences or non-stop conversation?
I like comfortable silences. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah. I like comfortable silences with Todd because I've had to get used to them.
All right. I love this one. One word to describe each other.
Beautiful soul. Well, that's 2, sorry.
That's okay. We'll
I would
hyphenate.
say generous. Todd is generous with his
Oh,
time.
I was talking about myself, sorry.
Oh, is it talking about
No, I'm only
ourselves?
joking. I'm only joking.
You were talking about yourself. You would have stopped at beautiful. Ooh, drop the camera.
Growing up, home and away or neighbours?
Home and away? Only because of Inga.
You're an idiot. So, Cam, you might not know, but I played Inga from Sweden, who was a Swedish backpacker that was going to try to steal Bobby's husband on Home and Away in one episode. And Todd thinks it's hilarious.
Do you not know this?
Home and Away for me, but not because of that.
You would have stepped on Bobby. She was tiny.
She didn't even come up to the bottom of my breast. It was so bad.
I love that. And last question. It can be more than one word. What's a way that you show each other kindness?
Do you want to go first there, Joe?
I would say through food.
Yeah. I thought you might say that.
Mine's through affection. Nice cuddle every now and then. Sometimes I even stroke Joe's hair, you know?
You would never. That's such a lie. I love him to death. He's got a lot of great qualities, but I actually came home once with hair extensions that were like down to, honestly, my midriff. And I said to Todd and Joe, I was there for about 3 hours just cooking in the kitchen. And I said to them, hey guys, have you noticed anything different about my hair? And Joe looked at me and he said, I know there's something. I just can't really put my finger on it. And Todd stared at me for a while and he went, no, you look exactly the same as when you left.
Oh, man. You do love them, don't we?
I love it.
So good.
You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's
It's
always
been fun. Thank you.
It's so delightful
you.
to be talking with you, and you can literally feel the love between you oozing over the microphone. I know, Joe, we've only met once before, but even then, the way you spoke about Todd was just so delightful. You could really tell how much you loved him just by, you can tell how much you love someone when how they talk about them behind their backs. Yeah. And you're always so lovely about him. It was just so nice. So thank you both so much.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you, guys.
I reckon that's the other key to a successful relationship, having respect for each other. And I think that's one thing that we definitely both have for one another.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's beautiful.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Oh, what a fabulous, fabulous couple. I loved them.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Todd's a ripper.
Right? Gardening, communication,
Laying lawn.
yes, gratitude,
Food.
food.
Cooked by the wife.
Yeah, she sounds like a really good cook.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to take some tips, I think. Some marriage tips too.
Thank you for joining us on Separate Bathrooms. We'll be back very soon with another episode.
Thanks for listening.